Wow, and we are joined by Eli, Brooklyn, Bronwyn, and Zorn from Current Generation. Hello, give us a wave if you can see me and if you can hear me.
Hi.
Wonderful, thank you so much for joining us today. It's so great to connect with you again. But before we start, we've got some questions for all of you, and I want to start with Eli. Eli, can you talk a little bit about how technology is involved in this project?
Well, technology is really useful for us when we're designing the lights because it helps us create personalized solutions to the problems that the people that we're sending the lights to face. When we start a new project, we like to brainstorm together, and we also like to talk with our friends overseas to make sure that our ideas are matching what they had in mind. After this, we'll print off our first draft, and it's not always perfect. So we always like to revise this and go over it a little bit, check for some inconsistencies, and add things or take things away from the light that we think need to be taken away. We like 3D printing here because it enables us to think, design, create, and especially help others around the world. And we're just really grateful that we have access to this technology.
Eli, I love that. I think it's so important that you're constantly communicating with the folks that you're creating these lights for, because you want to keep them involved whenever you're making an action plan. And that's for anyone listening about action planning. Keep the people involved. Oh, I love it. Okay, Brooklyn. So you're doing this work to help people from so far away, all around the world. How are you making those global connections?
Yeah, so we use Skype. One of the great things about Skype is that it enables us to make one-on-one connections with people all over the world who don't even become just our friends, but also become our close enough that we get to execute our ideas to their fullest potential with them. And Skype is also a great way to get instantaneous feedback so that we can improve our lights and our ideas as fast as possible. And in the future, something that's really important to us is we'd like to see our lights becoming as efficient as possible so that people all over the world can get the light that they deserve and they need. Strong, lasting connections are what we're trying to get here.
I love that. The light that we deserve, the light that we need. I think light is something that we take for granted every single day. Oh, I love it. Okay, Bronwyn, hello again, my friend.
Hi.
You and your team are doing so much more than just fundraising. You're actually making circuit boards that go directly to your friends around the world. Can you actually explain a bit more about soldering the circuit boards? Because that seems a bit dangerous.
Yeah, so when we're making these lights, one of the biggest challenges we face are making sure that we solder properly. Sometimes when we put a light together, the connections aren't working properly. And it can be very difficult to go back and try and fix those problems. Personally, we love soldering here. It's very fascinating to watch the solder liquefy and solidify. And it's also a great way to unwind after school, and we get to do so while helping others, so it's awesome.
I love it. Maybe I should get into soldering.
Definitely.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And finally, Zorn, what is it like to do this kind of project? Like, what is it like to work with your friends, make these things? What's it like?
So Current Generation helps us to learn new things such as 3D printing, soldering, and designing. But at the same time, it helps us to change the lives of 1.3 billion people around the planet who are currently experiencing light poverty. And just by spending a bit of our time working on this project, we are able to provide them lights that will aid them in their daily tasks, for example, studying, which is vital for their education. We get to do simple things for a bigger purpose rather than just doing a project in a normal class just to get a good mark. We get to change the lives of others, but at the same time we get to improve our skills as students and leaders in the future.
Yeah, students and leaders, we love it, so good. Oh, and something you should know about Current Generation, like Rohan, we're also part of the Incubation Hub program. So it's incredible to see all these wonderful projects that have been so part of we for so long. I love to see it, I love to see it. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in, Current Generation, and for sharing all of the amazing ways that you are using tech for good and to impact so many lives around the world. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
It was great to see you again. Wonderful. Oh, I don't know about you, but we have seen countless examples from our guests of how tech has helped with mental health, healthcare,
That was
life
good.
poverty.
That
no
was
matter what
good.
issue is that you care about, no matter
We
what the
finessed
action is
that.
that you want to do.
Well, we don't get a second
Don't forget
chance,
to
so-
think about how technology can
That's
help
okay.
She was
you
good.
develop your actions.
She was nice. Like she's
Let's
not
keep
making
my
us
friend
like.
No,
Okay.
I know.
No.
So-
a lot about the environment.
I love
So
Frankie.
it's vegetable-
You love Frankie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Always recycle
She's
things
sweet.
that can be recycled.
Tell her
Good job,
that.
Michael. Good job. But what if Michael
Sorry, I
thought?
feel my
Go, guys.
You know, you can see that.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.